What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is your review for Project Runway season 18, episode 3. So we have hit our unconventional challenge. It seems like they're doing some things. They must have a lot of new things waiting for us this season because it seems like they're getting a lot of the old uh staples of the show kind of out the way early. If I feel like it, we've already had a double elimination. This is your unconventional challenge. They've already done a team challenge, or they paired people up. So I feel like they're kind of doing some stuff early. So it makes me wonder if they have some new stuff they're trying to throw in. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. So we start this episode off. We see Alan. I'm getting to know these names, okay? Because no, I'm wrong. It was Tyler. Tyler was talking about how he was feeling some kind of way. He was feeling some kind of way about the fact that Sergio, I'm gonna get the names, y'all. I'm gonna get the names. Sergio got away with doing a ball gown, a red carpet couture outfit for for a streetwear challenge. Well, y'all know I felt the same way last week, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But it's your unconventional challenge. So they wake up and all they do is that they hear some noise coming from the living room. They go down in the living room. They must have been told that they couldn't come down for till it was a certain time because the whole living room was decorated for Christmas, right? Now for us, it's not that out of it's not out of the way because it's Christmas time. But y'all know they filmed this months ago, so it wasn't Christmas when they filmed it. They had Christmas sweaters for everybody, so they let them put on their Christmas sweaters, and then they proceeded to Christian proceeded to explain it. It's the unconventional challenge, blah, blah, blah. And basically everything you see around you, you can use. So you know how that goes. As soon as I think he said they had 10 minutes to pick up as much as they could pick up. And then it was just like, and go. Honey, they about knocked Christian out the way. They gave Brittany a daggone bloody nose. And I felt so bad for Brittany because Brittany got a bloody nose. So in the interim of her trying to stop her nose from bleeding, stop the blood from getting on all her materials, she lost a lot of time. And I really, really feel like I know all is fair in love and war, y'all. I get it. But I really feel like they could have paused for the cause. I really feel like they could have said, time, hold on. Let's make sure that Brittany, if nothing else, there are health issues when you have blood spewing all over the place. I mean, the girl was bleeding all over the place, okay? There are health issues, but neither here nor there. They didn't. So, unfortunately for Brittany, what she ended up with was basically nothing. She got all the scraps that were left over. And let's be clear, the stuff was scraps to begin with. I mean, it's the unconventional challenge. Then they had time to sketch, and then they went to mood. This is one of those challenges where you can have all of the best ideas you want as far as the sketching is concerned. It really doesn't matter until you get back and figure out everything you have and figure out how you're gonna make it work. Um, so they go to mood and all that. No, they didn't go to mood. Yeah, because they have their material, so they didn't go to mood. I'm tripping. No mood. They went back to the room. It's a 2-day challenge, the workroom. It's a 2-day challenge, and Shavi is over it. Shavi is like, Christmas doesn't really mean a lot to me. I'm just not excited about this. Like, I don't get excited about the holidays. And then we learned a little bit about him. His grandmother was a seamstress, and he learned at her feet. Um, we get a little bit more about Mr. Delvin. Delvin is being a brat because, again, I'm gonna say the same thing about you, Delvin, that I said last week about Sergio. There are certain things that are staples of this show. There's nothing new. You know, there's going to be an unconventional material challenge. So to sit there and complain about the unconventional challenge is really a waste of energy, time, and it really sort of pisses me off because my thing is, you're going to have to do this. I mean, the only way you wouldn't do it is if you've already been eliminated. And since you want to win, you're going to have to do this challenge. So to sit there and complain about this isn't what you came here for. You're a better designer than this. You want to do couture. You don't. You just feel like you're playing arts and crafts, and this is beneath you. Like, I don't want to hear that for an hour and a half, because you knew this was part of what you signed up for. Just like Sergio talking about he don't want to do streetwear. You know they're going to ask you to do all types of different um clothing. You're gonna have to do menswear. You're gonna probably have to do kids before it's over with. Like, you're gonna have to do different things. And I don't want to hear you complain about the whole damn time. Neither here nor there. Um, they get their materials together, and I feel like the only person that absolutely knew from the beginning what they wanted to do was Sergio. Sergio had a vision. He picked up the materials that he needed, and he absolutely he executed. Now, y'all know I've been giving Sergio a hard time, but I give credit where credit is due, and Sergio did a great job. What I said, somebody put under the comment that they wish I would show the looks, and I'm gonna say this to you, like I said before, I cannot commit that I'm gonna show all these looks. I mean, we still have 13 designers. I'm not gonna commit that I'm gonna show 13 looks. However, what I will do is commit to, at some point, whether it be the thumbnail or within the video, I will show the winning look. That I can commit to. So we'll get to who the winning look is, but I will commit to that. I probably gave away who the winning look was. So we're in the workroom. And again, you could tell by the editing who is featured and who isn't, who's going to be, Now, Alan tells us a little bit more. Alan, we know he's a dreamer. And so what we found out is that Christmas was a big deal in his house. And one day his father took him to work. And while he was at school, his father took him to school. And while he was at school, his father was deported. And he said he hasn't seen his father since. Um, people can have their opinions about all of it, and I'm not going to get political, but I do think that that's sad to go to school, your father drop you off at school, and then by the time you get out of school, your father has been deported, and it's been years you haven't seen him since. I think that's a sad state of affairs. But anyway, but he says that he goes out of his way to make sure that his little brothers have Christmas the way he always had Christmas, because he said his father always made sure that Christmas was special for them. So I can respect that. Now, what's my girl? Nancy. It's always one, right? That always has to do the banging and the boom and the whatever. Nancy is the one. She was in there breaking up ornaments and all kinds of stuff, honey. She was making so much noise. She was getting on Delvin's nerves, and then she started getting on Christian's nerves. It was hilarious. Alan is all over the place in this challenge. He He's all over the place. And what was interesting was that Delvin was actually trying to help Mr. Allen out. Y'all know I told y'all last week, gave Delvin a hard time for not really looking out for nobody but him. But he was actually trying to help Allen out. Allen wasn't trying to listen to him. He got a second opinion, and he did it. He had the girl boob hanging halfway out, and Delvin was like, yeah, that's not cute. Then when it was time for the styling, he was over styling, and Christian tried to tell him he needed to peel it back a little bit. But at that point, it wasn't, that outfit was just all over the place. It was just horrible. So, this is not going to be a long review because there wasn't a lot of like action as far as the different things that were going on, like different interpersonal relationships that were going on. We did learn a little bit more about Sergio. Sergio is in a committed relationship, and he said that his partner has made him a better man. His partner has definitely helped him sort of not be so uptight and take life in fully. And I'm thinking to myself, this is you not being uptight. I would hate to have seen before you got in this relationship if this is you not being uptight. Everybody, for the exception of Brittany. Brittany is losing it. Brittany is having a horrible time getting this together. Brittany is because basically all she's left with is wrapping paper, and she is not figuring out a way to manipulate it. She is not figuring out a way to make it work for her or to do anything with. She had a couple of ideas, and they just none of them worked out. She's panicking, she's upset, she's stressed, all of the above. Now remember, Brittany won the first challenge. So you went from the top to at a point where I'll be honest with y'all. I was so worried about Brittany's outfit. I was worried about, Brittany's outfit literally falling apart as her model was walking down the runway. Like that is how, excuse me, I have the hiccups. That was how bad I was worrying about Miss Brittany. And her model was walking as if she was worried about the material falling apart. Um, I'm trying to think. It was something I was going to say and I forgot. Oh, um, Tyler was worried about his outfit being costuming because remember that's what they said last week about him. So that was his big thing, was worried about thinking, about it being a costume and so forth. So anyway, that's kind of how it all went down. Again, nothing real earth shattering went down in this episode, I feel like, in a personal wise. So let's just talk a little bit about the runway. I'm gonna write y'all my notes. Let me read y'all my notes so we can, I wrote a note I couldn't read. I wrote that Sergio's outfit was gorgeous, that it was absolutely gorgeous. Victoria's outfit I thought was pretty good. Jeffrey's, y'all know Jeffrey last week he went, he was top, then he was bottom, so but his was really good. Tyler, I wrote it was not a great outfit. It was too short. Marquise, I wrote decent. So it was passable. It was decent. Alan, I wrote a snow stripper. Delvin, I wrote it was horrible. It was not cute at all. Melanie, it was a mess of gold. There was a lot of gold. I don't know if their materials had a lot of gold in it, but it was a lot of gold. A lot of these materials ended up being majority gold or all gold or gold and white or gold and off white. It was a lot of gold going on. Shavi, I wrote, was gorgeous. It was. His dress was gorgeous. Chelsea, I wrote gold, 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 gold. Brittany, hers looked like a big present. And I already told y'all Brittany was just some wrapping paper, honey. And I wrote it, she looked like a big present. Nancy, I wrote that I loved it. Now, Nancy explained how, because remember, Nancy's in her 70s, so she's older. And she was talking about how when she was a kid, the types of Christmas outfits that her mom would make sure that they had. And she said they would have these two-piece outfits with a coat. And so she was like, I know I probably don't have enough time to do like a full two-piece outfit and then a coat, but I wanted to try to replicate that. And I really did like Nancy's outfit. She had this really pretty coat. It was very retro because you could definitely see it in on someone in the 1960s, but I definitely could see somebody walking down the street wearing it right now as well. It was retro, but it was modern, like with a modern uptick to it, if that makes any sense. But I did like Nancy's. Day Young, I wrote was not cute and it was gold. A lot of gold, y'all. A lot of gold. So Sergio and Shavi were at the top, and I thought that was really interesting that Shavi was at the top since he was just not feeling this whole challenge. Like he was over it. At the bottom, Brittany, Alan, Tyler was sort of at the bottom, but he wasn't at like the real bottom. You know how they always have like three people, three top, three bottom, and one you can really pretty much eliminate. So Tyler was sort of that one. Now it came down to Brittany and Alan, and I pretty much knew that they weren't going to send Brittany home. They had some criticism for Brittany because they said you had this defeatist attitude. It was like you didn't get the materials you needed or wanted, and so you kind of gave up. That's how they felt. But because they've been having issues with Alan all 3 weeks, and he was already in the bottom once before, and the fact that Brittany had won a challenge, so they know what she's capable of. I figured they weren't going to send Brittany home, and they didn't. They sent Alan home, and I kind of felt bad because of Alan's story with the whole dreamer thing, and he was such a big personality. They're going to definitely miss him in the workroom, so I kind of felt bad that Alan was sent home, but he kind of deserved it. Now at the top, they really came down to Shavi and Sergio. And I'll be honest with you guys, because I'm not a Sergio fan, I'm not gonna lie. I was rooting for Xavi. However, Sergio did deserve the win. His dress was gorgeous. And the fact that when I'm gonna do a thumbnail of the dress, when you see it, you'll know like the top part is wrapping paper. And the way he manipulated the wrapping paper and the wrapping paper that he used was so gorgeous, and how he was able to manipulate the wrapping paper. Then, oh, speaking of which, I left my wrapping paper in the car. Anyway, then he had this basket at the bottom that he turned into like the almost like a y'all know what I'm talking about. A petticoat. Was it? It's not a petticoat. It's not a corset. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What they put under the skirt to make it hard, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody gonna put it in the comments. But yeah, so it was gorgeous. So he deserved the win. I ain't even gonna front. You know, he get on my nerves, but I'm fair is fair and right is right. Even though I was rooting for Xavi, and I thought Xavi's dress was gorgeous, but just when you start thinking about what he had to do to manipulate that wrapping paper and make it do what it did for that dress, I can't hate on him. So anyway, that's how it went down. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments.